Have you ever felt so utterly betrayed by someone you trusted that you couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of it all, even while your heart was breaking? That twisted mix of rage, disbelief, and dark humor is exactly what Brandon Aiyuk captured in his explosive YouTube post that's currently sending shockwaves to the NFL world. But this isn't just another disgruntled player complaining on social media. This is a calculated demolition of the San Francisco 49ers' carefully crafted public image, delivered by someone who has absolutely nothing left to lose and everything to expose. What Aiyuk revealed isn't just embarrassing for 49ers. It's a damning indictment of how modern NFL franchises really operate when they think the cameras aren't rolling. And the timing? The sheer callousness of when these trade discussions allegedly took place should make every football fan's blood boil. The devastating confession that changed everything. Let's start with the raw, unfiltered truth bomb that Aiyuk dropped on his YouTube channel. His words weren't polished by PR teams or softened by diplomatic language. They were pure, unadulterated emotion. They was talking about trading me while I was off Percocets/muscle relaxers and peeing in a cup by my bed. Think about what he's describing here. This wasn't a healthy player holding out for more money or demanding a trade. This was a human being at his absolute lowest point, medicated, immobilized, stripped of basic dignity, fighting just to regain the ability to walk. And somewhere in the 49ers front office, executives were allegedly discussing his trade value like he was a piece of equipment rather than a person who had given everything for their organization. The follow-up line, "Could've walked for 10 weeks, ain't nobody trading for me," might include laughing emojis, but there's nothing remotely funny about the pain behind those words. That's gallows humor from someone who's realized that loyalty in professional sports flows in only one direction. The injury that revealed everything. To fully understand the magnitude of what Aiyuk is alleging, you need to grasp the severity of what happened to him in late October. This wasn't a minor setback or a routine injury that players shake off in a few weeks. He suffered a catastrophic knee destruction, torn ACL, MCL, and meniscus, the kind of injury that ends seasons and threatens careers. For 10 weeks, this elite athlete couldn't walk. 10 weeks of lying in bed, dependent on others for the most basic human functions, pumped full of painkillers just to make it through each day. The mental and physical anguish of that recovery process is something most of us can't even imagine. Now, picture this. While Aiyuk was enduring that hell, while he was fighting just to regain basic mobility, the organization he had dedicated years of his life to was apparently having conversations about trading him away. The timing isn't just insensitive, it's grotesquely cruel. The track record that makes this even more shocking here is what should make 49ers fans absolutely furious. Brandon Aiyuk has been everything they could have asked for since they drafted him 25th overall in 2020. This wasn't some problematic player who had worn out his welcome. This was a model professional who had consistently over-delivered on every expectation. His journey to San Francisco wasn't typical. After starting at Sierra College, he transferred to Arizona State and immediately became a standout performer. The 49ers saw something special and invested a first-round pick in his potential. From day one, he justified that faith. His rookie numbers were solid. 60 catches, 748 yards, 7 total touchdowns. But that was just the foundation. By 2023, he had evolved into one of the most dynamic receivers in the entire NFL, posting over 1,300 receiving yards and become the kind of game-changing threat that championship teams are built around. The 49ers recognized his value too. They handed him a 4-year, $120 million extension, making him one of the highest-paid receivers in football. That contract was supposed to be more than money. It was supposed to be a statement of long-term commitment, a promise that he was central to their championship aspirations. Yet according to his allegations, the moment he got hurt, all of that apparently meant nothing. The ink was barely dry on that massive deal, and they were already exploring ways to move him. That level of organizational hypocrisy is staggering. The season that proved his irreplaceable value, the 2024 season, provided perfect evidence of just how crucial Aiyuk is to the 49ers' success. After he went down with that devastating knee injury, their offense completely collapsed. They finished 6-11, missed the playoffs entirely, and looked completely lost without their top receiving threat. Think about the irony here. While the 49ers were allegedly discussing trading Aiyuk, Their team was simultaneously proving that they couldn't function without him. They went from Super Bowl contenders to playoff also-rans the moment he left the lineup. If that's not a perfect demonstration of his value, what is? But instead of using his absence as evidence of how much they needed him, the front office was apparently using his injury as an opportunity to explore other options. The disconnect between what was happening on the field and what was allegedly happening in the boardroom is mind-boggling. The front office damage control that isn't working general manager John Lynch has tried to minimize this situation with typical corporate speak, insisting that everything is fine between the organization and their star receiver. But Aiyuk's public outcry makes it crystal clear that everything is definitely not fine. When a player feels compelled to air his grievances this publicly, it means all the behind-the-scenes conversations have failed. It means private meetings, phone calls, and relationship management efforts have all fallen short. Lynch can tell the media whatever he wants, but Aiyuk is telling a completely different story to the world. The fact that Lynch is even having to address this publicly shows how completely the 49ers have botched the situation. You don't get to this point if you're managing relationships properly. You don't have star players making explosive social media posts if they feel valued and respected by the organization. The message that goes beyond football, what makes Aiyuk's revelation so powerful, is that it exposes something much larger than just one player's grievances. It reveals how NFL organizations really operate when they think nobody's watching, how quickly loyalty disappears when convenience demands it, how easily human beings become commodities when business interests are at stake. Every player in that 49ers locker room is now wondering, if they treated Aiyuk like this during his darkest hour, what would they do to me? Every agent negotiating with the 49ers now has ammunition about how the organization really treats its players when adversity strikes. This isn't just about Brandon Aiyuk anymore. This is about organizational character, about what kind of franchise the 49ers really are beneath all the championship talk and corporate messaging. The championship window that's now in jeopardy. The brutal reality for 49ers fans is that their championship window is already narrowing. With an aging roster, salary cap constraints, and fierce competition in the NFC, they can't afford to lose elite talent over preventable organizational failures. Aiyuk is 27 years old and entering what should be his prime years. He's proven he can be the kind of difference maker that transforms good teams into great ones. Losing him because of front office mismanagement will be organizational malpractice of the highest order. But keeping him might be even more challenging now. How do you repair trust that's been shattered this completely? How do you convince a player that he's valued when your alleged actions suggested the exact opposite during his most vulnerable moment? The crossroads that defines everything. The 49ers now face a choice that will define their franchise for years to come. They can swallow their pride, admit they handled the situation terribly, and do whatever it takes to rebuild a relationship with Aiyuk. That might mean public apologies, contract adjustments, or even personnel changes in front office. Or they can double down, decide the relationship is irreparable, and actually pursue those trade options they were allegedly discussing while he was bedridden. But if they go that route, they're essentially validating everything Aiyuk has accused them of. What they absolutely cannot do is pretend this will just blow over. Aiyuk has made it clear he's not forgetting what happened, and he's not afraid to make his feelings public. This is a player who feels fundamentally wronged, and wrong players don't just quietly accept business as usual. The larger questions about modern NFL culture, the situation, raises uncomfortable questions about what professional sports have become. When did we decide that it's acceptable to treat human beings like interchangeable parts? When did loyalty become a one-way street where players are expected to be grateful while organizations feel free to dispose of them at will? Brandon Aiyuk's explosive revelation isn't just about his personal situation. It's a mirror reflecting the cold, calculating nature of modern professional sports, where championship aspirations often come to cost of basic human decency. The question now is whether this moment becomes a catalyst for change or just another controversy that gets forgotten when the next season starts. Either way, Aiyuk has made sure his voice was heard, and his message is one that every fan, player, and front office executive should take seriously. What's your take on this explosive situation? Do you think the 49ers can repair this relationship, or has too much damage been done? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's discuss whether organizations should be held accountable for how they treat players during their most vulnerable moments. Because this conversation is far from over, and how it ends might determine the future of player-organization relationships across the entire league.